Hello. Hi. I know I've still got my glasses on. I'm wearing my glasses. Today is a day for me to wear my glasses. Because I don't have any, whatchamacallit. I don't have any contact lenses. You gotta wash this day off. Hey, Robin. Hey, Jan. Yan. How you guys doing today? I already saw you once today. You're just hanging out with me, huh? Go wash that thing. Go beat it up against a rock. Hey, I got Magnus here. I got Heather. I got Gabrielle. Oh. Can you hear me okay? Hi. So, man, today's been a long motherfucking day. Today has been a long ass day, let me tell you. So much stuff going on. What do you want to talk about? Let's have a coffee chat. Let's talk a little bit. You know what I want? I want more junk food. I want like Pop-Tarts. I could totally eat Pop-Tarts right now. Help you with energy? Dollar store Pop-Tarts? I have to check that out. S'mores? No, I like the raspberry. I like the raspberry and the raspberry frosted. Where are my gummies at? It's time to start my night. Time to start my night with a gummy. I didn't have any gummies yesterday. We're gonna have a gummy now. Hi. Not necessarily keto, Jan, because I wish I could give you some right now. Because of the ulcerative colitis, you know, a lot of oils and saturated fats might not necessarily be good for you, but I can tell you what not to eat. Don't eat any wheat. Don't eat any soy. Don't eat anything with corn in it. Don't eat anything with white sugar on it or white sugar in it. Don't drink any alcohol. Those are my big 5. They have been my big 5 for the past 10 years almost. I've been preaching this doctrine. And I've had people, men and women, reverse. God, why do I look like fucking shit today? Why is my mustache all fucked up? Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I look horrible. It's because my mustache, I shaved off my stash and it's growing back, and it's like not growing back evenly. So just don't even pay attention to me. Don't even look at me. Those I've been helping men for years reverse their health problems, reverse their pre-diabetic condition, lose weight, feel better through exercising moderately, getting stress out of their life, reducing anxiety, sleeping better, and eating better. And specifically, cutting those 5 foods out of your diet will make you significantly better, no matter what your gender is. So, soy, as Witch in Kitchen has said, soy is horrible for you. Soy milk, don't drink it. Soy and whatchamacallit, tofu. Soy is worse for women than it is for men because it ups estrogen in your body. It fucks with your hormones. It'll screw up your cycles. Your body does not digest it. Your body does not get the protein, supposedly, that's in soy. Your body doesn't digest it. And a lot of women who decide that they're going to go vegetarian or go vegan, they start eating all these products with soy and soy-derived things, and it just fucks at you. Blow up, bloated. You feel like your gut is bloated like a lead balloon, and you start gaining weight. Screws you up. So I am a big advocate against eating any soy products. Now, if you want to eat some edamame, like some soybeans, some soybeans like that, or if there's some edamame like on a salad, you know, whatever, that's not a huge deal. I mean, not consuming soy on a regular basis. Really, Aaron? And we wonder why we have all these issues with our brains. And we wonder why we have all of these issues with children being born with ADHD, bipolar disorder, lots of mental and behavioral health problems, autism spectrum, Asperger's, all of these different things. All of these things that are going wrong with the brains. Yeah, Gabriella, I am. Do you want a reading tonight? I don't eat beans. Okay, well, my Cash App or my... Hold on, let me check something. My Cash App is Brujo Ryan. Have I read you before, Gabriella? You sent me a friend request on Facebook, didn't you? My Cash App is Brujo Ryan. I changed it back. But what is my Venmo? Brujo Ryan. Yep, it's Brujo. Oh, you have not had a reading with me? Really? 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 Oh, I'm excited to read somebody I haven't read before. It's BRUJORYAN. Brujo Ryan. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to rock her world, but we'll try. We shall try. It's $20 for 20 minutes. Which I think is very reasonable. Okay. Let me get my timer out. Thank you, sweets. I'm giving you a heart. I am going to go ahead and just say from the very get-go, I'm not trying to upsell myself in any way, but I do want to remind everybody that I also do birth charts, that I read people's astrological charts. I'm an astrologer. That's one of the things I became over the past 2 years. I've always loved astrology, or the idea of astrology. I've always loved astronomy and the planets and space, and you know, I'm into Star Wars and Star Trek and all of that. I'm just a big sci-fi nerd, and I find everything about the universe to be fascinating. I'm always studying and learning about something. This brain here is full of all kinds of useless information. But I became an astrologer, and I do read birth charts. And getting your birth chart read is something that's very important if you're on the spiritual path. And also getting your birth chart read in Vedic astrology or Hindu astrology can be very, very, very eye-opening. So I do those. And if you follow my link tree, or you go to the links in my bio, or the info part of my YouTube channel, you'll see my link tree. You can buy a birth chart. I can't forget to tell people that I do birth charts, because I want people to know that I do them. And I'm shuffling up your cards now, Gabriella. We're going to get you started. So I always say a prayer before I start my readings. I give praise, honor, and glory to God, Oludumare, the owner of all possible outcomes, or the owner of the pot that's never exhausted. I give praise, honor, and glory to my ancestors, those spirits of the dead that walk with me. I also give praise, honor, and glory to my Orishas. I give praise, honor, and glory to my Loa and the other spirits that have walked with me in this lifetime. They are the people, and those are the entities that will be bringing you your messages. I also ask that your spirit step forward for me, so that I might be able to give you accurate messages. So, as I'm shuffling up your cards and getting ready to do your reading, you probably want to say a little prayer to yourself and to your spirits that any messages that they want delivered to you tonight through this medium, that they come through, and we find out. All right, and, hey Leah, and if you're in my room and you can hit that thumbs up button or that like button or whatever button it is that tells YouTube that you like me and that you like my lives and you want to see me go live more, you can do that. Oh, wait, hold the phone. I'm experiencing this TikTok, not TikTok, this isn't TikTok. I'm experiencing this YouTube live differently this time. Now I can see your comments. That's weird. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm shuffling up Gabriella's cards. Come on, man. You gonna be hot for teacher tonight, or what? Okay. So, Gabriella, let me just explain to you what I'm going to do. First, I'm shuffling up your cards. I use 2 packs of tarot cards and 2 packs of oracle cards when I do a reading because it gives me, well, that's what my spirits want me to do. And another thing about doing readings for people, y'all, is if you hear me say the same thing to more than one person, it doesn't mean that I am not creative and can't come up with material to bullshit people. It means that my cards have very specific meanings, okay? So if I pull the Chariot card for you, it has a very, very specific meaning. And the indications of how that card is playing out in your life have to be determined by you. So even if I see a spirit come by, I can describe to you the things that I'm seeing, but it's going to be up to you to try to figure out exactly what it is I'm seeing, because I don't know. Like I said, all these messages that I'm giving you, they just come directly from the source. They don't come from me. I feel like I need to shuffle these one more time. Okay. Has anybody seen the movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage? I'm thinking about watching that. It's on Disney Plus, and I don't know if I've ever watched it before. Good. I'm using the Herbal Tarot. I'm using the Mushroom Hunter Tarot. I'm using the Herbal Astrology Oracle. And I'm using the Earthcraft Oracle. I think it's Earthcraft. I'm not a huge Nicolas Cage fan, but I'm interested in like the adventure. Hey, Barbara. Thank you. I'm much happier here than on TikTok. Okay, so now I'm going to read Gabriella. You guys can feel free to chat with one another during my live. That's absolutely fine. I can pay attention to I'm good at multitasking. I set your timer for 21 minutes, and I'm starting your time, and I'm going to start laying down your cards, and we're going to find out what the spirit has to say. So the first things that are starting to come to me, Gabriella, have to do with your work, have to do with issues surrounding your work or your job, but specifically feeling fatigued, specifically feeling like some low-key depression coming through, something that's in balance, some kind of imbalance that's going on with you, with your work, and feeling like overworked or overpressed and taxed. Those are like the first 3 cards I pulled. Have to do with fatigue, have to do with work, and have to do with like struggling with some negative feelings. But that's okay. We're going to keep going here. We're going to lay down all the cards. Well, you pulled that card twice. So whenever I pull the same card from both decks, that is always significant for me. It's almost like a confirmation card. Okay. All right. Okay. Damn. Okay, I'm getting a lot of information. I didn't think I was going to be super psychic tonight, but I got a lot of stuff coming through for me, Gabriella. The first thing that we need to talk about is that you have psychic abilities that you need to be working on. You are an empath. You have psychic abilities, and some of those abilities include being an empath. Whether or not you tell me that you can see or hear things that are not there, or smell things that are not there, like clear audience or clear sentience or clear anything else, that's up to you if you want to tell me that. But you definitely have clear empathy. Claire, being an empath is like the worst possible thing you can be. Being an empath means that you're going to absorb everything around you, whether or not that's positive or negative, okay? You are highly influenced by people, places, and things. You need to be very, very careful with your energy, and you need to sit down and you need to look at the people that you surround yourself with on a daily and monthly basis, and ask yourself whether or not you need to create healthier boundaries between you and the people who are around you. You pulled a particular card, and the card that I pulled, when I pull this card, it always talks about that there's someone in that person's life that is really, really super toxic, like, but specifically someone who might have problems drinking, an alcohol problem, a drug problem, somebody who might be gambler or have a sex addiction or some other kind of obsessive compulsive behavior. It's a compulsive behavior, and it's a violent, destructive behavior, and it's a reoccurring theme in that person's life, and it affects you. There's something about this person that's affecting you. Now, if I'm wrong about all of this, and I'm barking up the wrong tree, I need you to tell me what it is that I'm picking up on, because I'm just telling you what I see in the cards. And so the first things that it came out when I started laying down the cards has to do with your work, and has to deal with feeling overtaxed or a lot of pressure on your shoulders in order to keep up, be able to keep up with life. The Two of Swords talks about being able to maintain a healthy balance between the spiritual and the material world. And then on top of that, I'm getting this like real serious thing coming through about someone that doesn't need to be in your life. You keep your circle small. Very good. Of course it is. Of course you're an energy healer. Where is your card? One of the oracle cards that you pulled is Dandelion, which is the wounded healer. Dandelion, which is the wounded healer. You also pulled the seer. Okay? You pulled the wounded healer and you pulled the seer. Those are two very mystically charged cards. Okay? You also pulled Cat's Claw, and this is the card of purification. So if you're an energy worker, you should be giving yourself a spiritual bath at least twice a month. In my traditions of Santeria, Palo Mayombe, Voodoo, even in traditional witchcraft and Espiritismo, spiritualism, we make spiritual baths and we bathe a lot. There's a lot of spiritual bathing that goes on through initiatic process, and then also to keep yourself spiritually clean. Because in case you people didn't know this or not, spirits are tangible, they are real. Spirits are real, and they exist all around us in our atmosphere. In space, all around us, there's spirits around us all the time. You're always coming into contact with people's spirits. And if you're an energy healer or energy worker, you are dealing with that person's spirits when they come to get a session from you. You need to make yourself a spiritual bath. Okay, how you doing with that? Because I got sober in 2016. I'm almost 7 years into being 7 years of sobriety, which I'm really proud about that. But are you taking care of yourself? Are you journaling? Do you keep a journal? It's one thing that's very, very good for people who have suffered from alcohol or drug addiction or something like that, is to keep a personal journal, to keep track of your feelings. Let me go ahead and back up here for a second, because I'm interested. You said you're an energy healer. Are you a Reiki practitioner? Like, tell me more about like exactly what it is that you're doing in the healing arts, because you have ancestor spirits that are stepping forward for you. You have both grandmothers and grandfathers in your lineage that are stepping forward for you tonight. I have not addressed them yet. I have not tried to pick up on what they're giving me. But you have got two spirit guides that are with you in your court, and they're both females. And one of the females is an indigenous woman. Okay, she's Native American. Whether she's Native American to North America or whether she's Taino or from the Caribbean or from Mesoamerica, I don't know. But you have a spirit guide around you. She's thin. She's got very, very, very high cheekbones. She's got a beautiful complexion, indigenous complexion. She's got her hair is parted down the middle, and it's silky black hair that goes all the way down to her hips, and she has things that are in her hair, like she had braided her hair. She's got braids in her hair, but she's got like something white. It's like her braid has some kind of ribbon in it. It's almost like braided with ribbons. Yes, but one of the female, but this is a female spirit that I see around you, and it might or might not be ancestral. This might or might not be an ancestral guide, because everybody, in case you didn't know, some spirit guides can be ancestors, can be elevated ancestors, but most of the time, spirit guides can come to you from anywhere. They can even come to you from any culture. You also have an African spirit with you. You have an African woman that's walking with you also. And this African woman that I see, she has her hair braided back. It's braided back or kind of dreaded. She is wearing the color that she's wearing. She's wearing a scarf, or she's wearing her head she's got a head covering on. She's veiled, but her veil that she has over her hair is like a burnt orange color, and the gown or the wrap skirt that she has around her is also the colors of yellow and brown and orange and autumn colors. Okay. Okay, good. Good. Then if you're getting positivity, if you're getting positive feedback from the reading that I'm giving you and it's resonating, or you're making sense about who it is I'm talking about, then that means that I'm picking up on the right energy, or I'm picking up on the right frequency of who these people are. And it's giving you confirmation to know. If you go to a medium, let me tell you something. If you go to a medium and you sit down and that medium does whatever, oracle cards, tarot cards, crystal ball, or whatever, and they say, I see a woman around you and the woman looks like this. And you're like, okay, well, that's interesting. But then you go to another reader like 6 months later, and the reader sits down and says, I see a woman, she kind of looks like this. You have to understand that's a very real spiritual entity or spiritual force that's around you. How many psychic mediums do you have to go to before you really embrace and really accept, that particular entity is with you? If you are not dealing with some kind of low-key depression, it could be that there is some kind of spirit hanging around you that needs elevation. And I don't know if you've ever practiced any spiritualism or any spiritism, or done work with spiritism. You tell me that you are an energy healer, but do you work with the dead? Do you work with dead people? How new are you to this? Because I have suggestions for you about what you need to do if you're new. So you're getting me at my optimum peak performance tonight. I've never read you before. So I got a lot more messages that I need to kick out there to you. But how long have you been doing this spiritual stuff? And while I'm at that and asking you that question, let me ask you, do you have an ancestor altar up? Have you started your ancestor altar? You were raised a Jehovah's Witness? No fucking way. How did you know that I was raised a Jehovah's Witness too and they kicked me out? They kicked me out when I was 22. Actually, like 21, 22. Yep, I was born and raised a Jehovah's Witness. Third generation. Yep. Girlfriend, were you born into it? Were you raised in that shit? Like, do you still have family that's in that stuff? Oh, God. You came to the right reader. Isn't that hysterical, everybody? That's absolutely hysterical. Have you processed through that trauma? Were you baptized? Did they disfellowship you? Or did you just kind of like fade away and disappear? Oh, guess what? Witch in Kitchen over here, Lauren, she was a witness too. um, okay, so they disfellowshipped you? Okay, good. So here's a great thing about being disfellowshipped. The great thing about being disfellowshipped is you were in a cult, right? We were born and raised in a fucking cult. You got baptized in that cult and you swore an oath to that organization, to the Watchtower organization, that you would, uphold all of those principles and shit. And then, for whatever reason, for one thing, their version of Christianity is just another version of Christianity among millions of versions of Christianity. When they disfellowship you and they kick you out, that severs the tie spiritually between you and that organization. You can walk away free and clear. You don't owe them anything. If they decided to disfellowship you and they decided to kick your ass out of there, you are free and clear. Not your problem. Because guess what? Their version of Christianity ain't correct anyway. You didn't miss anything, okay? Of course, you might have missed Christmas and holidays and your birthday and all that, but you can celebrate them now. I recommend that if you're not my friend on Facebook, that you friend me on Facebook, and that maybe you and I catch up at another time, because I feel very strongly that there's a lot of work that you need to start doing. Some of the work that you need to start doing is ancestor work, okay? Because you've got indigenous ancestors, and I believe that you probably have African ancestors also that are reaching out to you. I'm talking about from a long time ago. Yay, I made a new friend. Let me keep giving you messages though, okay? You've got another highly elevated spirit that's coming through for me. And like I said, I'm in Orisha tradition. And the kind of energy that's coming through for you in this particular reading is you're getting some real serious Oshun energy coming through. I feel Oshun. Oshun is my mother, okay? I'm a child of Oshun. Oshun is showing up for you in this particular reading. I don't care whether or not people watching me or not are actually approve or disapprove about my messages when it comes to working with the Orishas, or how the Orishas are perceived or come to people. But you got some real Oshun energy around you. So you got a lot of indigenous and a lot of African and a lot of shamanic spirits, okay, around you, and they're coming around, and there's very, very specific ways to work with these particular spirits. There are specific ways to work with these particular entities. They're spirits, okay? And so, that's something that you're going to need guidance on in the future, okay? So you need to connect with me about that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oshun is Oshun brings me a lot of people, actually. Oshun brings me a lot of people. I have an Ian Ifa. I have a priestess in Ifa that if you decide that you're going to go in that route, if you want to do Orisha work and you want to work with the Orishas or get initiated into Orisha tradition, which just leaving Jehovah's Witnesses, I don't recommend you get initiated in anything for a little while. But if you want to start learning about Orisha and working with someone who casts Ifa, then I will refer you to my priestess, because she is a priestess of Ifa. So, yay. That's another thing coming out. Another thing that's coming out for you is, just be careful, because right now you don't want to move too fast, okay? If you're just starting out on this path, you don't want to start running into all of this spiritual stuff. You want to take your time. I am not an advocate of people like going and doing everything all at one time when they've decided that they're going to jump on the spiritual path. For you, that's good. I hope that you realize that you never ever have to deal with that bullshit ever again. But what I was going to say is the things that you really need to be focusing on right now, in my opinion, okay? Because I'm a spiritual doctor. People come to me and they get readings from me because they need medicine or because they need guidance on what to do in their spiritual path, more so than any mundane shit that comes through in a reading. And what you need to be focusing is on ancestors. You need to be doing ancestor work. You need to be doing ancestor veneration. You need to be calling on your highly elevated and highly evolved ancestors that are guiding you in life, guiding you on the spiritual path, and that are calling you to whatever path they want you to walk down. Wherever they're calling you, you want to follow. But you need to start by putting out a glass of water and a white candle somewhere in your home that you're going to designate as your shrine space. That's going to be the area in which you talk to and interact with your ancestor spirits and your spirit guides. They need to have their own space in your home. And that's something that you need to do. And there's a book, it's called Badass Ancestors. Badass Ancestors by Patty Wigington. This is a book that you must buy and that you must read. It's not very big, it's not a long book, but it's going to get you on the path of doing ancestor veneration. If you have any interest in Orisha tradition at all, you have to start with your ancestors. Because in the African traditions and African spirituality, okay, see? In African spirituality, ancestors are life. So if the ancestors are not happy with what's going on in your life, it's not going to succeed. Period. Period. We go to the ancestors because, for one thing, we want to make sure that they're happy. We want to make sure that they're appeased. We also want to get their blessings because your ancestors want to see you well. Your ancestors want to see you healthy. Your ancestors want to see you make money. Your ancestors want to see you get stability in life, and that's what came through in this reading. There's more stuff in this reading. Everything that I just told you right now, that's just the tip of the iceberg for you, okay? So that's all the time I have for you. But there you go. That's our first reading. And I hope that maybe it gives you a little bit of direction about what to do or where you need to go next. Reach out to me, and we'll talk some more, okay? Because I like being able to interact with people in real life, which is why I moved from TikTok to Facebook. Wow. Man, another J-dub. Lauren, what the fuck? What the fuck? And why do all of these JWs always start gravitating towards the occult and witchcraft? What is that? What's up, Bloop Bloop? What the hell is up with that? But here's the thing, though, Gabriella, is even though you have, I don't know, you were talking about light beings or whatever, people around you helping you practice energy work, that's great and everything, but you really should also think about training, or you should think about, there's a book I would recommend to you. It's called The Japanese Art of Reiki by Franz Stein. The Japanese Art of Reiki. So that even if you're not practicing Usui Reiki, you still need to learn about it, because there are a lot of exercises in that book, meditations to do, for you to train yourself and meditate to be able to protect your own energy. More than anything else, you need to be protecting your own energy when you're going into doing sessions with people, okay? Hey, Jackie. Any questions, comments, or anything about magic, the occult, witchcraft, any of the stuff I talk about on my YouTube channel? You guys got questions for me? You want to find out what color underwear I'm wearing tonight? You can ask me any question that you want. This is a ask me anything kind of live. It's been a long ass day. It's been a long ass week. It's been a long ass month. It's been a long ass year, and it's only halfway there. It's been a long ass decade. Yeah. I know, it's the spirits. It's always the spirits. Why do I feel so old right now? I've been waking up in the middle of the night with these existential crises, like, oh my God, I'm 43 fucking years old. But last night, as I was doing my meditation, and I was thinking about myself getting older, I had a vision of myself. And was thinking about, I saw myself in one of my videos, one of my TikTok videos that I had made, talking into the camera. And as I was talking into the camera, I'm like watching this video of me talking. As I'm talking into the camera, I see the wrinkles start to come onto my face, and I see my face getting thinner, and I see my mustache and my horrible mustache and my facial hair turning white, and I saw my hair turning white. And by the end of that little mini vision that I had when I was talking to myself into the camera, I had seen the transformation of myself to an old man. White hair, white, like Gandalf white. The beard, white. Everything went white. Because all the men in my family, the hair turned solid white on my dad's side. And I do have white whiskers. I just plucked them because I'm vain. Where do you live, Bloop? It could be the humidity. The humidity could be making you feel heavy, because humidity sucks here. Anybody who's in my mentorship program that wants to talk about something in the mentorship program, you can talk to me about mentorship related stuff, because we're here. If you have a question. You're not far from me? Okay. It's humid as hell. It's humid as hell. And I've got this air conditioning unit here, this floor air conditioning unit with the, the little slinky tube that goes out the window. Oh, Magnus, I did not see. Okay, you were asking about the Vedic houses, but I don't think I saw it, and the Atmakaraka. Okay, what are your questions about it? You're in Church of Christ? Oh, man. Oh, man. No window unit? No nothing? It's really miserable out there right now. but we're getting ready to enter the next ice age. Like, they don't know when it's going to hit, but it's going to hit. Because that's what happens. What happens is that this planet heats up, heats up, heats up, heats up, heats up, and then it cools off. And when it cools off, the temperature drops rapidly, and that's when all of the shit starts hitting the fan, and that's when everything starts freezing over, and that's when the second ice age is going to come. So we don't know when that's going to happen. Could happen anytime. But there's going to be a radical shift that happens eventually with this whole global warming thing. Do you want me to talk about astrology? Do you guys want me to like just talk about astrology for a hot minute? And stuff. I'm pulling out my... So I wrote a book. It's called the Vedic Astrology Guidebook, the Vedic Astrology Dice Guidebook. It's available on Amazon, on Kindle and paperback and hardcover. I haven't showed anybody a picture of the hardcover book yet, but it comes in hardcover. This book teaches you how to use astrology dice with Vedic interpretations. We can talk about numerology too, even though I'm not a numerologist. My Ianifa is big into numerology, and one of the beautiful things about my priestess is that she's got a training program. She has an interactive training program that we meet every single Sunday afternoon for an hour, Maile, and she gets on there and she teaches everything. And so the last time we got together on Zoom and we had a meeting, she was teaching us about, spiritual baths and giving us spiritual bath recipes. It's really, really great to have a godmother or a godparent that is an active teacher and not just someone who says, come on, come on, come on. Let me initiate you. And then after you're initiated, that's it. One of the big problems that I have, and I'm not going to lie, one of the big problems I have with Ifa and Santeria, Lukumi, a problem I have like in Palo Mayombe or what I've seen in Voodoo and other traditions, other diasporic traditions that require initiation, is that there's a lot of people out there that will be like, oh yeah, I'll initiate you, because in the Western Hemisphere, you get initiated, then you learn. You get initiated, and then you learn the mysteries or the secrets, if they'll teach it to you. It ain't like that in Africa. Over there, you study, you have to learn, you have to train to become an Nganga. You have to train to become a Babalao. You have to be able to know these things before you become a priest. So it's different. Over there in Africa, you train, and then you become initiated, and then you have the license. It's like you graduate. You get the license to be able to practice the tradition. Whereas over here, they give you the initiation, and then that's it. And then what? You go home with your warriors, and you go home with your Orula shrine, and you put it up, and then you don't know what to do, and you never hear from these people again? What are you supposed to do? Oh, Magnus, you want a reading? Okay. And you sent it on Venmo? Okay. Let me just check, make sure I got it and that there's no issues. I got you, Amber. I knew it was you, Amber. That's what I figured. I just didn't want to say it. And... Hi, Mari. Can I call you Mari? Yes, these internet streets, absolutely. So, but I'm gonna read you next. I'm gonna just call you Magnus, so that there's no, only we will know who what your true identity is. But let's talk about these houses. Okay, let's talk about astrology. I'm just going to talk about astrology, my opinion about astrology and what astrology does and why you should be concerned about astrology. And then if you have questions for me, if I can answer those questions, because I want to be honest with you, I am a new astrologer. I am not someone who is an expert. I'm not an expert astrologist. I don't do predictive astrology, horary astrology. I don't do that. My speciality is analyzing and looking at birth charts, and constructing birth charts that are going to be helpful for an individual to understand their karma, okay? The kind of astrology I practice is Hindu astrology or Vedic astrology, also known as Jyotish or the science of light. And that astrology has been practiced for a very, very long time. Very, very, very long time. Hey, happy birthday, Rebecca. Happy birthday to you. How old are you? So when you're looking at your birth chart, okay, so let's talk about the birth chart, what that is. When you're looking at your birth chart, in order to create a birth chart for you, you need what about learning respect? They send you home. Who are you talking about? So when you're looking at your birth chart, what you need is the time of birth, the location of birth, and the day of birth. And at 60 years old, hey, good for you. Wow. I can't even imagine how much knowledge and wisdom that you've accumulated over your 60 years. Congratulations. Hey, Summer. Your husband surprised you with breakfast in bed. Well, lucky you. That's really, really nice. Good for you. At the moment of your birth, there's all kinds of stuff going on in the universe, okay? And in Hindu astrology, there's philosophy that's attached to Hindu astrology that come to us from the Vedas, some of the oldest spiritual text in the world, okay? Some of the oldest concepts that we have about spirituality in the world come from Proto-Indo-European people, Indo-European people, which became also people who spoke the Sanskrit language. And Sanskrit is an ancient language. It's a symbolic language. It's a vibrational language. It's considered to be a holy language when it's chanted, or when you say mantras, or you say prayers, or sing songs in Sanskrit. But the Vedas are kind of like the foundation for, and Hindu philosophy is core of Vedic astrology. And there's two concepts that are very, very important in Hinduism that is why you would want to understand your birth chart. The first one is rebirth and reincarnation, okay? So there's this concept or this idea that I buy into, that this isn't your first life. I believe in reincarnation. I believe in future rebirths. Whether you consider it reincarnation or rebirth, it doesn't matter. Whoever it is that you are, okay, your Atma, or your Jiva, or your soul, or your spirit, or what it is that makes you you, okay? Whatever that is, when your physical body dies, is going to leave the physical body, and at some point in time in the future is going to feel the need to incarnate again, and then you will come back. And at the moment of your death, at the moment of your birth, okay, you come into this world with credits and debts. And when you leave this world, you also leave with credits and debts. And the second most important part of the philosophy that's important, that is also in African spirituality also believes in reincarnation, indigenous African spirituality, and also it teaches the law of karma, of cause and effect. Everything you do, everything you say, everything you think, how you move through space, that creates and generates karma. Okay, and that can be good karma and it can be bad karma. And we are generating karma just by breathing, just by being alive. Unless you want to lock yourself into a room and shut the door and never come out, by going out on the street, your interaction with the world around you generates karma. You're always generating karma. It's not something that just happens when you flick somebody off, when they cut you off in your car, or when you give somebody $1 that's homeless on the side of the street. Karma isn't like that. It's not just one thing that's like brownie points or, getting tomatoed. You're constantly generating karma. Okay? So what you find out when you get your birth chart done in Vedic astrology is you kind of find out a little bit more about your purpose in this life and what positive and negative parts to your personality have shined through in this incarnation, things that you should work on. So like my birth charts aren't necessarily positive. There's a lot of hardcore shit that comes through in my birth charts, and it's because not everything that we bring into this world is positive, and so we work on trying to burn off our karma. The Atmakarka in Hindu astrology is the planet that is holding the highest degree in the heavens at the moment of your birth. Okay? And depending on where that soul planet, I'm just going to call it the soul planet, depending on where that Atmakarka or soul planet lands in what house, the affairs of that house are always going to be a reoccurring theme in your life. I have all of my shit written down in my own books so I can keep track of them. But we're going to go over real quick the different houses and the areas of life. There are 12 planets, there are 12 signs, and there are 12 houses in your birth chart, okay? The 12 planets are considered to be personalities. The planets are personalities. The planets are the gods, okay? They always have been, folks, from the very beginning. The planets are personalities. We live on a god. We live on a deity, okay? Whether you want to call it Gaia or Allah, doesn't matter. We live on a deity. And, then you've got all of the other deities, which are the planets. And then you've got the signs, which are kind of like the signs influence the behavior of these planets as they're moving through the heavens, as these planets are passing by different stars and they're going through the different signs of the zodiac, they're being affected by the sign of the zodiac that it falls in. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys' comments. So let's just take Venus as an example. Okay, Venus has always been considered to be a planet about beauty, a planet of love, a planet of romance, a planet of magic, a planet of mysticism, a planet of the occult. Most cultures attribute femininity or making it a divine feminine energy. In Hindu astrology, it is considered to be an effeminate man or a soft male. But a lot of the qualities of Venus that come through are very benevolent. But Venus is going to behave differently depending on what sign of the zodiac Venus is in. So let's say Venus is in the sign of Leo, which is a fire sign. It's ruled by the moon, ruled by the sun. Okay, Leo is ruled by the sun. It's a fire sign. When Venus, the planet, is in Leo, Venus is going to behave in some kind of way, okay? The heat, the fire of being in that sign is going to change Venus's behavior. And so instead of just being a planet about pleasure and a planet about love and a planet of sensuality and eroticism, that sexual energy, that erotic energy, that sexual desire, that horniness ramps up. It ramps up, and now the energies of Venus are coming through very, very, very dominant, very, very, very strong, very, very powerful. So you're getting a really hypercharged Venus energy coming into your chart at the moment that you're born. That affects you. Because if you believe that the moon affects the tides on Earth and also women's excuse me excuse me and you believe that the moon actually affects women's bodies and their cycles, and the moon affects us, then every single one of these planets in space, their energy affects us in some kind of way. And so that's why each planet brings its own karmic lessons in your birth chart. Every planet has a cosmic lesson to bring you in your birth chart. And the way they go around and around and around and around, they dump those karmic lessons at different points in time in your life. As you're traveling along life's little path, you're going to get a planet that's going to be dumping karma on you every single time you get to a certain point. And we see that when we practice astrology. See what I'm saying? Your Venus is in Scorpio. Hey, Grant, baby. So, hold on. I need a... What? I don't have any more Ricola? What? Shit. All right, I thought I had Ricola. I do not have more Ricola. I am going to have to go to CVS because I love sucking on those things. Now take Venus, okay? Take Venus, take the energy of Venus that was in Leo, okay? All heated up, and now put Venus in Libra, or in Taurus, which is one of the signs that Venus rules. She's going to act completely differently. When she's in Taurus, she's going to spread herself out and spread everything out. She's going to lay on the bed. She's going to, be luxurious. She's going to be grand. She's going to be lazy. She's going to want she's the queen. She's going to want everybody to do everything for her. She doesn't want to lift a finger. Her attitude is peel me a grape. Okay? So Venus as a planet, as a god, as a personality, is going to affect your birth chart, depending on where she lands in your birth chart. And then Venus is going to continue to affect you throughout your entire life, and that's why we pay attention to the planets and where they are in the heavens and what's influencing them at the time. Now, about Hindu astrology, the oldest astrology that we practice is lunar-based. The oldest astrology systems are based in lunar astrology, the moon traveling through the lunar mansions. And there are some cultures that still follow a lunar calendar, and there are some cultures that completely don't have anything to do with the moon. And then there are cultures that have maintained both the lunar and the solar calendar simultaneously. And when we practice Vedic astrology, we are looking at both the nakshatra system, which is the old way of calculating and looking at interpreting birth charts, and then also what's going on a solar calendar. Your sun, moon, and Venus are all in Taurus. Your rising sign is Libra. Ha 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 ha! Wow. That is a lot, isn't it? So then there's also relationships that are built into Hindu astrology, like whether or not the planets interact well with one another. So like the sun and Venus are technically enemies. And so your sun being in Taurus is technically in the sign of an enemy. So your sun might not be acting as well as your sun could be if they were in a different sign or if they were not that close to Venus. So like that's why I would have to look at your chart and do your birth chart. And if but you're talking about tropical astrology or sidereal astrology. What are the calculations that you use? Do you know what kind of calculations you used for your birth chart? Because I calculate all of my birth charts off the galactic center. Because at the center of our galaxy, there's a supermassive black hole. And just like our Earth revolves around the sun, our sun revolves around the galactic center, okay? This gets really, really deep, but I'm not going to go into it right now. So I calculate people's birth charts off of the galactic center when I'm doing the calculations. No, that's just where Aries for me begins. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries, Taurus, right? And depending on whether you practice tropical astrology or Babylonian astrology or Fey Ganalian astrology, or you calculate off of the galactic center, it just depends on where your Aries begins. It depends on where Aries begins. And so the calculations I do points Aries starting at the galactic center in the Mula Nakshatra, middle of Mula. And the reason why I do the middle of Mula is because that is where the galactic center is. That's where the supermassive black hole that our entire everything revolves around, that's where that lives, okay? That's where the galactic center is. My spirits also confirmed for me that calculating Aries from the middle of Mula is the proper way of interpreting the birth chart. And if the Orishas and all of those guys say that's how it needs to be done, I believe them, okay? So, the galactic center really has to do with where Aries is, where you start calculating a birth chart from, okay? Your sun is in Sagittarius. So here's the thing. This is the thing though. Even though we can say, oh, well, my sun is here, my moon is here, this is my rising sign, because most people will ask you, what's your big three? And you'll be like, you give them your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. Well, that's great. But that doesn't mean shit if you've got Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus anywhere close to those guys. So the thing is that there's 12 planets, there's 12 signs, and there's 12 houses. And there's a lot of components to astrology that are important. It's not just your sun sign. Matter of fact, your sun sign really doesn't matter to me. You got your moon sign and your rising sign, which are very, very important. They tell me more about you than your sun sign. And then besides that, we got to look at what is your Atma Karaka, what is your soul planet? What is the planet that is holding the highest degree in the heavens at the moment of your birth? That planet is going to say something about you. That planet has got a direct connection to you and your karma and how your karma is going to play out in this lifetime. And we'll know that by where your Atma Karaka falls, in what house. That house that your Atma Karaka finds itself in is very, very important to understand what are the reoccurring themes that are going to be happening in your life over and over and over again. And you're like, God damn, this is kind of like Groundhog Day. I did this last year. I did this last decade. I did this when I was a kid. You see what I'm saying? If you're feeling and experiencing that, it means that you are spiritually awake enough, or you're open enough now to recognize the negative behavioral patterns that you are trying to work through in this lifetime. It's called burning off your karma. It's called burning off karma. So wherever the Atmakaraka or soul planet falls in that particular house, you realize that there's a lot of karma that you got to burn off in that house. And then that planet will always bring you back to it, whether you like it or not. It's called living in harmony with your destiny. Hearing somebody talk about this stuff is also good for me. Leo, you're a Leo, Gemini, Ascendant, Pisces moon. You got a Pisces moon? Ah. But you're a Leo? Sun sign is Leo, Gemini, Ascendant? Really? You know what's so interesting? It doesn't surprise me that your Ascendant is Gemini. Because Geminis have got very dual... The mask that you wear on the street is tricky. You've got two masks, because the Gemini is the divine twins, and everything in Gemini comes in twos. Two personalities, two modes of being. It's like double your pleasure, double your fun every single day. Whenever somebody has Gemini, they have relationship problems because it's always two. It's one and it's two. It's like you're single and you're not getting fucked, and then all of a sudden you meet somebody and you're like, yo, and you start hanging out and you start jiving with this person, and then somebody else shows up at the same time. And you're like, why the hell? I wasn't fucking for like 6 months, and now I've got this, big chunk of muscle over here, and this guy walks in over here. What the hell? That's Gemini. And Mercury rules Gemini, and Gemini can be extremely fickle and forked-tongued. You're very good at lying. If you're a Gemini, and your Mercury is like, you're the kind of person that can lie very easily. I'm calling you out. It also, I find, in females makes them more sexually aggressive. Or more promiscuous, but definitely someone who knows what they like. Like, they're not just I'm going to lay in bed here with my legs open. I mean, women who are Geminis, Gemini ascendant, because remember, in Vedic astrology, your sun sign doesn't mean really very much, okay? What matters is your rising sign. Whatever your rising sign is or your ascendant sign is in Vedic astrology, that's what you are. My sun is in Cancer, but I am a Virgo. My rising sign is a Virgo. I identify as a Virgo. Do I give off Virgo energy to you? So anyway, yeah, Mercury rules Virgo too. So Gemini women tend to be very, very, they know exactly what they like in the bedroom. There you go. One more aspect of Vedic astrology that's important is Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu is the north and the south node of the moon, okay? And Rahu and Ketu are not, they're considered planets in Hindu astrology, but they're not planets. They're points in space where eclipses occur, okay? And they're always opposite sides of the zodiac. They're always on opposite sides of the zodiac, facing one another. And depending on where Rahu and Ketu fall is also going to tell you about very important aspects of your karma and what it is that you need to focus on in this life. Yeah, it is. I am very earthy. I would like to think of myself as being very earthy. I feel really, really, really earthy here. That's for sure. But Magnus, I'm going to do your reading now. But I guess my question for you is what, did you have a specific question that you wanted to ask about the houses, the Babas? You wanted to hear me go off? All right. Well, I went off. Um, as an astrologer, as someone who's been studying now for a while, and I am doing people's birth charts and stuff like that, I'm always learning something every day. I'm growing as well as growing with the people, growing with you guys. Um, but what I have found out to be very important is to pay attention to what houses the planets fall in someone's birth chart, because they have very definite indications. Um, Also, how the signs are affecting the mode of the planet, how the planets are affecting one another, how close they are together, or how they are facing off with one another, whether they're agitating one another or not, or comforting. I would say agitating or comforting one another. Your Atmakaraka, your soul planet, very important, and the house that it lands in, and then also Rahu and Ketu to tell you more about your past life and your karma. You don't give off enough Virgo energy. It could be because of your moon sign. What is your moon sign? You're a Pisces moon, aren't you? A Cancer moon. I knew it was in a water sign because I did your chart. Cancer moon. Cancer moon isn't as bad as Pisces moon. People who have their moon in Pisces have a lot of emotional dysregulation. And I know someone said earlier in here that, I don't know if it was Mari or not, that their moon is in Pisces. When moon is in Pisces, the moon is highly psychically unstable, and it can create all kinds of issues in a person's life. A Pisces moon makes someone very, very open to the occult and psychic. It opens up psychic abilities for someone. It's a very, very emotional sign in general. It's Pisces people who are Pisces ascendants. They have a very emotional life. I'll be judgmental. I'll be judgmental enough for both of us. How about that, Witch and Kitchen? Sagittarius moon, you have a very active imagination. If you have a Sagittarius moon, it makes you a daydreamer. It makes you, unless you have aphantasia, which is where you can't actually visualize things in your brain, it makes you very good at creative visualization. It can also make you a lucid dreamer, having your moon in Sagittarius, because of how active Sagittarius is as a sign. Okay, so let's shuffle up these cards and look at Miss Magnus over here. I'm gonna go in for another reading over here. Oh. Summer, you didn't have to tip me, honey. You sure as hell didn't have to. I'm going to talk about numerology also. I'm going to tell you what I learned from my ENIFO when it comes to whatchamacallit. Thank you so much. You guys are way too kind. Really. You guys don't even understand. You guys helped me pay like 2 bills today. And I appreciate that. You have an active imagination. I'm sure you do. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, because I know I might come off like a selfish asshole or a selfish prick, but I'm really not. Like, I really I'm generous with my time. I'm generous with my energy. I'm generous with my resources. I will put out like a $2 whore. I really will. I'll put out as much as I possibly can for other people until I can't put out any longer, and then I just can't, and I have to like sleep. I don't come across that way? Oh, that's good. I thought I was coming across that way to everybody on TikTok, which is why they didn't like me. I appreciate that. I really do. I think all creators should have a Cash App on put their Cash App on their profile, because if you're like someone like Mama Sunfire, or you're someone like Witchfoot, or someone else like Magda or Bells that's constantly doing readings, or like just on live talking to people about their spirituality, that's spiritual work. I don't think people understand that that's spiritual work, and that spiritual work needs to be supported. That, no one's getting paid when they go live and sit and talk to people for hours and hours and hours about spirituality. You know what I'm saying? So I think we should make an incentive to normalize tipping people for the work that they do. And then the other thing is, the reason why if you're a worker, if you're a spiritual worker, if you do energy work, if you do tarot cards, and I don't know if Gabriella is still in the room or not, if you're an energy worker, or you read people's cards, or you're a psychic medium, you have to charge for your services. You have to charge for your services. You have to. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is a good fucking reason to charge people, or tell them that you barter and that they have to supply you with something that is going to be worth the time that you spend working on them, which is, if someone comes to me for a healing and I heal them and they walk away healed, okay? They owe me karmically. They have created a karmic debt that they will have to pay me back in some lifetime at some point in time. The law of karma. Hello? If somebody comes to me and says, I don't have any money, okay? I need help. I need a reading because my family's gone to shit and my mental and behavioral health is a problem and I don't know what to do. And I say, okay, you know what, I'll help you. And I do a reading for them and I give them spiritual advice, and then they go do those things, or they take their spiritual bath, or they do what they need to do to get their life straight, okay? I didn't charge them anything. They didn't pay me for my time for me to read them. But now that person owes me. Like I said, you come into this world with a certain amount of credits and a certain amount of debts. And when you leave this world, you're going to leave this world with a certain amount of credits and a certain amount of debts. So I owe people that have lived, died, passed on. There are people I owe, that I owe service to, that I know that I'm not going to be able to get to them until another lifetime. There are people that owe me big time. They're going to have to come around and serve up their karma, burn off their karma in a future lifetime. And that's how this game works. And in Hinduism, at least my school of thought, life is a game. This is one big fucking game. And if you're going to, if you're going to play a game like you want to win. Don't play a game like you want to lose. That's what I always say. That's my philosophy. If you're going to play the game of life, play like you want to win. Don't play like you want to lose. Because we all know that there's smart ways of living and stupid ways of living. So I had this major realization about my Atmakarika. I'm not going to go into it on live. Maybe I'll tell you in the group privately, in my Facebook group, where I know everybody. But I had this super massive revelation about my Atmakarika, and when I did, I was so fucking bummed out. You don't even know how bummed out I was. I was like, wait a minute, what? My Atmakarika is what? And it's where? In what? And that means what? And I'm supposed to do what? I was so mad. It's a long story. So what tripped me up is Jennifer bought me like $300 professional software to run these charts, right? And there's a particular part of the, whatchamacallit, there's a particular part of the program that runs your Atmakarika for you. And most people's Atmakarika is like, well, let me just put it this way. There are some schools of Hindu astrologers that do not believe that Rahu, the north node of the moon, can be your Atmakarika. And then there are other astrologers that do accept Rahu as someone's Atmakarika. From direct experience in my life and what I've experienced in my life, I can definitely say that I consider Rahu as it can be a potential Atmakarika planet. So when I realized that my Rahu is my Atmakarika and where it falls in my birth chart, I was so mad. Oh, damn. Have you seen, did you see mine? Have you seen did you see my wood transit table and my crystals? Do you guys want to see? Oh. Look, I'm going to show you mine. God, I can't move. I bought this on Etsy. It's just like a wood board. And I haven't pulled up my app today to check whether or not the moon is still in Virgo or whether it's moved to Libra. But right here in Capricorn right now, we've got Pluto, and then we've got Saturn in Aquarius, and we've got Neptune in Pisces, and we've got Jupiter and Ketu in Aries, and this is Uranus over here. I got crystals that actually look like the planets or the color of the planets. We got the Sun in Gemini and Mercury, Venus, and Mars, and the Moon. And these are my astrology dice. So astrology dice have 12 sides to them, and so they have planets, signs, and house numbers. And then I've got this little tea light holder that's like a lotus flower. And I sit on top of it like that. Who's witchier than me? Oh, let me drag my ass like a snail back. Back to my seated position over here. Okay. So. Okay, Miss Magnus, I'm almost done shuffling your cards. Jackie, where's your Rahu and Ketu place? Do you know? Right? Right? Aren't the crystals awesome sauce? Rahu is in Libra. Can tell you right now. You've got Rahu in Libra and Ketu in Aries. You are here to develop yourself through your relationships. It's important that you come to understand yourself through others. How others make you feel is an indication of your own character. You will not feel whole or complete without the interaction of love and commitment in a lasting relationship. In previous lifetimes, relationships always bogged you down, never allowing you to achieve your own personal dreams. You empowered others to achieve their dreams, so now it is your turn. You are empowered by others and have the drive to achieve your desires. You gave of yourself before, and now you are the one to stand in the light of your own personal development and success. That is what Rahu in Libra means. Because I basically copied and pasted the entire chapter out of that book, Rahu and Ketu, and I put it in a document. I put it in my astrology folder. Oh, really? Jeez. Okay, your cards are all shuffled up, Miss Magnus. So let's start your time. And see what's going on here with Miss Magnus. Did that make sense, Jackie? That was a mouthful. Those fairies, man. Those fairies, they just come for you. I think every single time I've read you ever, you've had nature spirits around you. Fairies, gnomes, sprites, brownies. Your fucking house is like Fern Gully. But you've got fairies came for you tonight. They must really, really like you. Oh, I know. Just from the video and the pictures that I see that you send me, you literally look like you live in Fern Gully. Like you need to be running around in a little tutu. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I don't like, Magnus. I'm getting very strong warnings about your health. Getting very, very, very strong warnings about your health. It's making me uncomfortable. You pulled the Ten of Swords and you pulled the Ten of Swords twice. Are you dealing with health-related stuff? Yeah, her mind was blown. Okay. Well, my recommendation is if you already know that you're dealing with health, Sela. Oh, I don't like those cards at all. If you already know that you're dealing with health-related stuff, then that's just the spirits telling you that they're concerned about you. They see you, they recognize what's going on with you, and that you need to pay attention to it. So if you're already getting care and treatment, then that's really, really good. But damn if those two cards didn't hit me in the fucking face. Okay. There's also a card over here that says that I know that you're a lucid dreamer and everything, but it talks about irregularity of dreams for you, and that you haven't been dreaming as much as you usually do. Yeah, you need to get a check-in with Western doctors. Don't just, and you know, the thing is I'm a huge advocate for holistic care and non-Western therapies and treatments in conjunction with Western medicine. But there are just some things that only testing with Western medicine is going to pick up. If you're anemic or you have some other kind of condition going on in your blood, or you're deficient in some kind of vitamin D or something like that, or other things that they can pick up, you definitely need to get checked out. Okay, enough about that. What about your dreams? Yeah, you definitely need to get some blood work done. Get your breast examined. Get a mammogram or whatever it is that they do in order to check the breast. You know, if you haven't seen your gynecologist in a while, get everything checked and make sure that everything is fine down there. I might literally have them shove a flashlight in every hole just to look in there and make sure that everything's still there, okay? That all the parts are still there. Alchemy is something that's very, very important to you. You pulled my alchemy card. Ultrasound, is that what it is? I don't know. You pulled Damania, and you pulled alchemy. This particular card is called the Beloved, but whenever I hear the Beloved, that reminds me of Rumi, who is a very famous Islamic Sufi mystic and poet, and he always referred to the beloved and the beloved as the relationship between an individual and the divine, divinity. You know who Rumi is? Deepak Chopra. I don't know how to say these people's names. Deepak Chopra or whatever. He actually recorded an album of the poetry of Rumi, and he has all of these famous people like reading the poems, like Madonna reads one. But, you know, you're a mystic. Okay, I'm just going to throw this out there because this is kind of like what I'm hearing, and I just don't know whether or not this is true, but I'm just going to tell you the kind of feeling I'm getting, kind of like what one of my spirits is talking about, is you're a mystic. Are you living the kind of life that is allowing you to fully pursue that mysticism, that alchemy, and that level of advancement that you're looking for spiritually, or do you feel held back? Because I feel like you feel held back. Right? Responsibilities and all of that. You pull the medicine wheel. And whenever I pull the medicine wheel for someone, that always talks about like being a shaman, being a medicine woman, being someone who, you know, walks through the forest barefoot and is picking the medicinal herbs and picking the poisonous plants and collecting flowers and, you know, finding mushrooms and taking bark, finding barks and branches and things and going home. And you're very, very witchy, but you're like, you've got that witchy shaman, that witchy mystic aspect to you and to your personality. And so you have a very strong, deep desire. You have a craving for a hole in your soul that is never filled up with your mysticism. But I'm not trying to burst your bubble, and I don't want to make you feel discouraged in any kind of way when I say this. But that quest for the next big bang that you're going to get out of things that gave you a big bang in the past, they wear off. And those things don't last. And chasing a mystic high isn't necessarily going to be what gets you from point A to point B and what burns off your karma. So here's the thing. Okay, Amber, this is really, 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 really a big stretch of the imagination, okay? But what I'm trying to say is that you have karma, and the karma that you're trying to burn off is whatever house or area of life your Atma Karaka is in. I'm bringing it back to astrology. What house is your Atma Karaka in? Five. So that particular house is a house of creativity and innovation. It's a Dharma house, and it says that this house is about your identity, your creative expressions, your feelings of security, your trust in yourself, your ability to take risks. It's considered to be an auspicious house, and that most planets that fall in the fifth house have a great ability to do good in your life, the fifth house. But the thing is that what you're trying to burn off in that house might not be your biggest heart's desire, which is that big gaping black hole in the center of your chest. It's like the galactic center that just wants to suck everything into it and just absorb as much mysticism and magic as you possibly can. You're a very mystical person. You're a very magical person. I know what you've done in your past as far as like work is concerned. As a sex worker, I have to realize that I have to take a step back from the physical, because I can be a total psychic vampire, an energy vampire, and I can completely absorb the energy off of people that I work with when I'm in an erotic space and in an erotic play space. Right. So even though those things are your favorite things, that might not be your purpose in this life. Your purpose in life might not be to be a 100% full-time mystic, or to, chase black holes and to the center of galaxies right now. What you need to focus on is these aspects of your life, these reoccurring themes. And when you get on the spiritual path, you have to realize that your karma is going to start burning up faster. That's why nobody in India is in a hurry to get on a spiritual path, because they know as soon as they do, that karma is going to start burning off, and it's going to burn off at a more rapid pace. Is why white people, I'm sorry, I know I'm using the word white people, but I'm talking about white people who practice white people magic, that have all of this new age stuff that's being taught to them, and all of these, we're talking about fourth, fifth dimension and all this shit. They're living in the eighth dimension, whatever. Fuck that shit. And we're talking about people that, don't have a very strong sense of ancestor worship and the law of karma, because Christians are not worried about karma. We have grown up in a colonized Christian world. And even if you were not born and raised a Christian, a Catholic, or whatever, you grew up around people that held those values. So your value system is also wrapped up and intertwined with this Christian culture that we live in. I'm just going to put it out to you honestly, right? So what I'm saying is that it's not easy. Now, here's some of the other things that I see coming through in your card. Your guardian angel is very, very close to you. Whoever it is that rules your head, this is somebody who have you seen my Aunt Aoife? Have you seen her on TikTok? You should get a reading from her. You should get a reading in Ifa. I think that would be very good for you. I know you already had a reading. Oh, you did? I know you had a reading with the other one, but you have, okay, so you have to text me and tell me about what had happened because I want to know. I really, 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 really want to know. All right, this is going to sound so contrived, but the oracle card that you pulled is the balance card. Finding balance and harmony, uniting those two forces inside you, which is that solar and that lunar energy. God, that is such deep, that has such deep implications when it comes to alchemy. The orbs are always around. That's who's whispering in my ear. That sun and the moon balance card also reminds me of the chakra system and the 7 chakras, the 7 energy centers, are wheels or vortexes of energy that run along the spiritual spine, okay? Those 7 wheels of light. And there are 2 channels that cross one another, okay? There's a central column, and that central column, which is also energetically connected to your nervous system and your spinal cord and your spine. It's your spiritual spine. It's the Shushimna, is what we call it. The Shushimna is kind of like a straw that energy gets poured into and circulates. And there are 2 different channels, currents of energies, one being positive, one being negative, or one considered to be solar and one considered to be lunar. Okay, these 2 opposing forces. We're talking about Kundalini awakening. We're talking about all of that stuff going on. But here's the deal. The deal about that is you don't need to worry about trying to open up your Kundalini. You don't have to worry about trying to have a Kundalini awakening experience. Nobody needs that. Yes, the Ida and Pingala. Some people say Ida and Pingala. I say Ida. The Ida and the Pingala. And the thing is that you don't need to try to bust open your Kundalini because your Kundalini is going to rise naturally. Kundalini rises and falls all the time. It happens all the time. It's not just, you're not just walking around with Kundalini energy like buried like a snake in some kind of hole in your Muladhara chakra. No, Kundalini is going up and down all the time. And energy is circulating up and down all the time. Okay? And in Chinese Taoism, they do the microcosmic orbit meditation, which also circulates this energy. But you don't have to try to pry that shit open because it will open naturally. Every single chakra is already open. If your chakras were closed, you'd be dead. So that's a total misnomer that if someone said, my chakra is closed. No, it's not. If your chakra was closed, you'd be dead. That would be like your heart stopping working, or your liver stopping working, or your lungs just to stop working. Your body can't live without those organs functioning properly, and your spirit can't function properly without your chakras working and being open. Now, there's a big call to keep yourself in balance. You pulled the Two of Swords. Two of Swords, talking about balance. You got 2 cards over here, 3 cards over here, 4 cards over here talking about traveling. I don't know if you're planning to go anywhere within the next month, but you got a lot of cards over here that are talking about travel. Are you going somewhere out of state? Okay. Be cautious about it. Okay, I'm getting a message here, and this is coming through because of the card I just put down. Let me put it to you this way. Amber, when you put positivity out into the world, you will get positivity back. Oh, let me start over. I fucked that up. Let me start that over. If you're a negative person and you put negativity out into the world, you're going to get negativity back. Put negativity out there, you're going to get negativity back. If you put positivity into the world, you will get positivity back and you'll get negativity back. Has anybody ever noticed that? You put out bad shit comes back. You put out good stuff comes back, but it comes back with its friend, bad shit. As an alchemist and as a mystic and as a meditator and someone who's very deeply connected to the unconscious self, you are deeply connected to the unconscious self, and that's because of your journeys. You have opened up, unlocked that key to the unconscious self in your journeys. But the issue is, once the door is open, it does not shut. I don't know. If you were raised the way I was as a Jehovah's Witness, they tell you, once you open that door, it's open. You can't close it. Once those demons start coming in, once you open up those psychic abilities and your life starts going to hell in a handbasket, well, you did that. You opened that door. You opened that Pandora's box. Now everything's out. So that's what they'll tell you. What's the last thing you heard? What did you miss? Once you open that door to the unconscious realms and the subconscious realms, it's open, it's not going to close. I know. That's what I mean. Your door has been, you know, you've had a revolving door on your subconscious mind for like a very, very long time. So what you have to remember is go back and read the description of Rahu and Ketu in your PDF folder that you downloaded when it comes to the descriptions of the planets and how they behave, like what the planets actually do. So go to planets, find Rahu and Ketu, and read the implications of Rahu and Ketu, the personality of the planets and what they represent, and meditate on that. Because when you're dealing with Rahu and Ketu, you're dealing with your conscious mind, your unconscious mind, where you're headed, what your destiny is, where you've been, what your karma is, what's in your past lives. Rahu and Ketu are very, very mystical entities, shadow planets, ghost planets. And think about that, because by going into doing the journeys, the type of journeys that you do, you definitely have an open portal to all of that Ketu stuff. It's all that Ketu stuff. Virgo and Pisces. Is Rahu, you got Rahu and Virgo and Ketu and Pisces? Is that what you said? Just making sure because I'm going to read it to you. I was going to read it. I was going to read you what that meant out of this little book that I got, the book I bought. Rahu and Virgo, Ketu and Pisces. Your attention to details can at times detract you from your ability to see the big picture. In previous lifetimes, you had the tendency to blame others and be a victim, where the world was a bad place causing you problems. But if you're committed to doing the work, you now have the ability to solve your problems. You allowed others to take advantage of you in previous lifetimes, but now you're on guard to prevent others from stealing your soul. Being overly critical and scrutinizing will deter a meaningful relationship. To overcome your fear of being taken advantage of by others, try giving without fear in order to form lasting, sincere relationships. Practice love with boundaries and you'll overcome past relationship issues. The power to organize and be disciplined is something you constantly needed in previous lives. The understanding heart you had in previous lives will develop the happy love life you're seeking now. Have I not put your chart together yet? Have I not done your chart for you? I'm going to do your chart for you. What you need to do, and I'll do it like I need to do Jackie, I need to do Leah, I need to do you, okay? Because I've given Leah and Jackie readings in their birth charts, but I never like gave them the hard copy. So I'm going to be doing that for you guys. If you're still here, if you heard me, I'm working on your charts. They're actually on my desktop. But what I need you to do, Amber, is I need you to give me your time of birth, date of birth, and location of birth. Send it to me in Facebook Messenger so that I can at least go ahead and pull up your chart and save it to my desktop, because I'm going to try to get it done tonight. I'm not going to be doing any more readings tonight. That was like my night. I've had a long day, and I think I put out some really good messages to you guys, for those of you who needed it, who needed the help. I'm glad that I made a new friend with Gabriella, who, you know, is a sister. Sister Sister Gabriella, sister. We'll talk about the money thing later. That's not my biggest concern right now. Money isn't my biggest concern about your birth chart. Okay? I need to get it. I need to get it to you so that you can examine it, because technically I'm supposed to be helping everybody with their birth chart anyway, okay? Okay, so here's the point. I go live. I'm going to try to go live on Tuesday and Thursday nights between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. to do live readings here on YouTube, because I want to be live on YouTube and meet people on YouTube. Start building a little bit more of a following here. I am officially off TikTok. I am not on that app anymore. Have no desire to ever go back to that app ever again. I never want to have to open that app again. Open the app again. I'm enough with that. I do read birth charts. So if you want to get your birth chart read, you can click on the link tree and it'll take you to do that. And you can also book a private spiritual consultation with me if you want to do a face-to-face reading, a whole 1 hour reading where I can sit down and really, really dig deep into this shit for you. I'm available to do that too. And I have a mentorship program on Facebook. If you want to join that, you can join that too. Okay, did I cover all my infomercial? Did I do the infomercial correctly? If you want to send me a friend request on Facebook, you're more than welcome to. All right? Philip Ryan Deal. It's got a blue check mark beside my name. I paid for the blue check mark, and I paid to get verified just so that people would know it was really me. All right? So you guys have a great, wonderful rest of the night. I'm going to go work on Leah and Jackie's birth chart, okay? And I'm going to have a cupcake. All right, so have a great rest of the night, everybody. I'll see you on Facebook.